his breath warm against my cheek. With a tenderness that belied the intensity of the moment, he softly kissed the back of my hand. A gesture that sent a cascade of sensations through me. In that single delicate touch I found the courage to embrace all that I had repressed. The desire to feel alive, the hunger for connection, and the yearning to rewrite the narrative of my life. Before we start, thank you for coming to my channel. Your participation is my happiness. Let me know where you are and what time it is now. Okay, now let's get into the story. I never imagined that life could truly begin at 68. After a decade of quiet days since my dear husband passed away, I had settled into a gentle routine of memories and solitude. Yet one crisp autumn morning, as golden light filtered through my window, a quiet determination stirred within me. I decided it was time to confront the dusty attic I'd long avoided. A silent repository of forgotten treasures and lost dreams. The attic was a time capsule, filled with boxes of faded letters, old keepsakes and photo albums that carried echoes of a once vibrant past. With hesitant hands, I opened the first box and discovered a well-worn album. As I flipped through its delicate pages, I encountered snapshots of a younger, fearless me. Laughing on sunlit beaches, dancing beneath starry skies, and dressed in outfits that spoke of unbridled passion and possibility. One particular photograph, a radiant image of me in a striking red dress by the ocean, made my heart quicken. It was as if I were meeting a version of myself I had long buried under years of loss and caution. Lost in reminiscence, I barely heard the gentle knock at the attic door. When I opened it, I found Julian, a neighbor and dear friend I hadn't seen in months. His warm smile and kind eyes lit up the dusty space. "Evelyn, I hope I'm not interrupting," he said softly, stepping inside with a quiet confidence. "I was in the neighborhood and thought you might appreciate some company." Something about his sincere concern melted my hesitation. "Not at all, Julian. Please come in. I'm just rediscovering parts of my past." We settled together on a creaky wooden crate, and I began to share the stories hidden within those faded pages. The adventures of a young woman who embraced life with a fearless heart, the laughter, the bittersweet moments of rebellion, and the wild dreams I once held dear. Julian listened intently, his eyes occasionally lingering on a photo of me in a carefree bikini at a lively summer party, a glimpse of a time when I dared to live boldly. "You were remarkable back then, Evelyn," he murmured, his tone gentle and filled with quiet admiration. "I never imagined that the woman who now tends her garden and enjoys quiet afternoons could have been so full of life." His words stirred something deep within me, a tender, almost forgotten longing to recapture that spark of passion and freedom. In that moment, beneath the soft glow of the autumn sun and surrounded by relics of the past, I realized I had been living only half a life. The attic, once a place of shadows and regret, now felt like the gateway to a long overdue awakening. I closed the album slowly, my hands trembling not with sorrow but with the promise of rediscovery. "Julian," I said quietly, "I think it's time I stopped hiding from who I once was. I need to find that spark again, to truly live." He offered a gentle smile, his eyes reflecting understanding and hope. "You deserve every moment of joy, Evelyn. It's never too late to embrace life fully." And so on that crisp autumn morning, surrounded by the echoes of a vibrant past and the tender promise of a new beginning, I took my first step on a journey to reclaim the woman I had once been. A woman of passion, resilience, and unbridled spirit. Little did I know that this journey would not only resurrect my buried memories, but also awaken emotions and desires that had lain dormant, waiting for the chance to shine once more. Later that evening, after a quiet dinner filled with nostalgic reminiscences and gentle laughter, Evelyn found herself alone on the back porch as twilight deepened into a velvet night. The cool autumn air carried a subtle perfume of fallen leaves and distant rain, setting a scene that felt both intimate and electric. It was in that hushed moment that Julian appeared at her side, his presence as reassuring as it was exhilarating. For a long while we simply stood there beneath the soft glow of string lights draped above the garden. The silence between us was charged with unspoken words and long-forgotten yearnings. Julian reached out slowly, his hand hovering just inches from mine before gently interlacing our fingers. A shiver ran through me, a spark of passion that defied the years of solitude and loss I had come to accept as my fate. "Sometimes it feels as if the world has been waiting for this moment," Julian murmured, his voice low and tender, carrying the promise of rediscovered youth and passion. His eyes, warm and sincere, held mine captive, reflecting a tenderness that stirred memories of my wild, fearless past. A past that, for too long, had been hidden away in dusty photo albums. Encouraged by his steady gaze, I allowed myself to lean into his touch. In that quiet corner of my garden, the barriers I had built around my heart began to crumble. The cool air, the gentle rustle of the night, and the soft luminescence of the porch lights conspired to create a cocoon of intimacy around us. With every shared glance and every subtle caress, the distance between us melted away. Julian's fingertips traced the outline of my hand with such delicacy that I felt each touch as a caress of rediscovery. My pulse quickened as he slowly guided me toward a secluded bench nestled under a flowering arbor. There, amidst the fragrant blossoms and the soft murmur of nature, our conversation dwindled into a language of its own, a dialogue expressed through lingering looks and whispered confessions of long-suppressed dreams. In that moment, as the cool night embraced us and our hands remained entwined, I realized that I was standing on the precipice of a new beginning. The passion that I had once tucked away, believing it lost to time, was now ignited anew by Julian's sincere adoration and the undeniable chemistry between us. His eyes shone with a mix of admiration and longing, and with each heartbeat, I felt more of the woman I once was stirring to life. The anticipation grew as Julian leaned in, his breath warm against my cheek. With a tenderness that belied the intensity of the moment, he softly kissed the back of my hand, a gesture that sent a cascade of sensations through me. In that single delicate touch, I found the courage to embrace all that I had repressed, the desire to feel alive, the hunger for connection, and the yearning to rewrite the narrative of my life. Under that starry sky, surrounded by the gentle chorus of the night, I surrendered to the awakening within me. The path ahead was unknown, yet I could no longer deny the magnetic pull of our shared passion. With every fiber of my being alight, I knew that tonight, I was beginning to live again. And as the moment reached its tender climax, I realized that sometimes, the most profound rediscoveries come not from a return to the past, but from the bold, uncharted promise of a new, vibrant chapter. Under the soft glow of the moonlight, Evelyn and Julian drifted away from the secluded bench and returned to the intimacy of her cozy living room. The gentle hum of the night seemed to echo the unspoken desires that had taken root within them. As they stepped inside, the lingering chill of autumn was replaced by the warmth of soft lamplight, wrapping the room in a tender embrace. Evelyn settled onto a plush sofa, her heart still fluttering from the earlier revelations in the garden. Julian joined her, his presence both calming and electrifying. Without a word, his hand found hers, and together they let silence speak volumes. The air was thick with anticipation, each shared glance and gentle touch fanning the sparks of a passion long dormant. In that quiet space, words became unnecessary. Julian's fingertips traced delicate patterns along Evelyn's arm, each caress awakening memories of a vibrant youth and stirring a longing she had thought was buried forever. As his warm breath brushed against her neck, Evelyn felt a shiver of excitement, a mixture of vulnerability and the thrilling promise of rediscovered desire. Their eyes met, and in that unguarded moment, Julian leaned in slowly. Their lips met in a kiss that was both tender and charged with emotion, a kiss that spoke of years of restraint finally dissolving into the freedom of the night. With each soft, deliberate touch, Evelyn felt the boundaries of her past crumble, replaced by the promise of a present alive with possibility. The room filled with the quiet symphony of their hearts, a rhythm that echoed the raw, unfiltered truth of their desires. For a while, time seemed to stand still as they explored the delicate dance of passion, an intimate waltz of gentle caresses and fervent kisses that revived a spark within Evelyn. It was as if every touch, every whispered sigh, was a reminder that life still held moments of breathtaking beauty and unexpected renewal. As midnight approached, they paused, their breaths mingling in the stillness. In that suspended moment, with the world beyond the window hushed and distant, Evelyn and Julian understood that they had embarked on a journey where the lines between past regrets and future hopes blurred into the pure, unadulterated joy of rediscovering life's pleasures. Thank you for listening to the story so far. Your encouragement means a lot to me. Please comment and share your thoughts here. I love you and I am so grateful to have you on this journey with me to explore the story further. Dawn crept gently over the horizon, its pale light filtering through the lace curtains and softening the edges of the night's memories. I awoke to the quiet murmur of early birdsong and the subtle lingering warmth of passion that still clung to my skin. For a long moment I lay still, letting the afterglow of the previous hour settle deep within me. A reminder that life in all its vibrant complexity was finally stirring awake. I turned slowly to see Julian, curled on the sofa in a peaceful slumber, his face softened by dreams. His presence, so tangible and comforting, was a stark contrast to the solitary days that had defined my recent past. As I watched him sleep, a delicate mix of tenderness and wonder filled me. I had spent decades gently treading around the edges of life's fierce beauty, and now here, in the quiet intimacy of a new morning, I felt reborn. Rising quietly, I padded to the window and gazed out at the awakening world. A world that promised fresh beginnings and whispered the secrets of untold adventures. The cool morning air, rich with the scent of dew and hope, caressed my face and invited me to embrace the possibility of transformation. In that silent hour, every breath carried the weight of both regret and redemption, a reminder that the heart is never too old to rediscover its wild, unbridled spirit. Later, as the first rays of sunlight warmed the room, Julian stirred and offered me a sleepy smile that spoke volumes. "Good morning, Evelyn," he murmured, his voice gentle yet filled with unspoken questions. His eyes searched mine, as if hoping to find in me a mirror of the emotions he too had felt so deeply the night before. "Good morning," I replied softly, my voice tinged with both joy and uncertainty. There was a vulnerability in admitting that the passion we shared had awakened long-dormant parts of me, parts that craved both the thrill of rediscovery and the comfort of familiarity. I knew this new chapter was laden with risks, yet the taste of life after so many years of silence was something I could no longer deny. Over a quiet breakfast, our conversation shifted from gentle recollections of the night to reflections on what lay ahead. Julian spoke of dreams unfulfilled, of moments lost to the routine of everyday life, and I found myself sharing stories of a youth once lived with reckless abandon. In our words, a promise was forged, a silent vow to seek a life where every moment was cherished, where the beauty of vulnerability was celebrated, rather than hidden away. As the day unfolded, I felt an undeniable stirring within me, a call to explore not only the newfound desires that had set my heart alight, but also the possibilities that lay beyond the confines of the past. With Julian by my side, I dared to imagine a future where age was but a number and passion a timeless force. In that soft, radiant morning, with the echoes of our intimacy still warm in the air, I realized that this was not merely the start of another day. It was the beginning of a journey toward reclaiming the parts of me that had been silenced by loss and fear, a journey toward embracing the full, brilliant spectrum of what it means to truly live. In the days that followed our tender morning, I began to sense that the quiet revival of my spirit was stirring echoes from the past, echoes that could not be easily silenced. One crisp afternoon, as I was tending to my small garden filled with marigolds and wild lavender, a gentle knock at the door startled me. Opening it, I was met by the concerned face of my eldest daughter, Karen, who had flown in unexpectedly. Her eyes, wide with both worry and curiosity, searched mine. "Mom, you seem different," she began hesitantly, stepping into the sunlit room. "There's a light in you I haven't seen in years, but I worry about the changes. Are you all right?" Her words, laced with tender concern, forced me to confront the transformation that had been unfolding within me. I had spent decades nurturing my quiet existence, my life defined by gentle routines and measured grief. Yet now I was awakening to a passion and freedom that both exhilarated and terrified me. I led Karen to a small sitting area, where I carefully explained that sometimes the heart demands new chapters, even when they seem to challenge the past. I spoke softly about the rediscovery of lost desires, of long-forgotten dreams that were stirring to life within me. While Karen listened, her eyes flickered with both skepticism and hope, as if she wished to understand how her mother could suddenly reclaim a spark that had been dormant for so long. Later that evening, after Karen had left with a promise to return soon, I found solace in the familiar embrace of the twilight. The soft hum of the evening was interrupted only by the steady approach of Julian, whose presence had become the gentle counterpoint to my inner tumult. His eyes, always sincere, were now filled with a quiet intensity as he greeted me at the door. "Good evening, Evelyn," he said, his voice warm and steady. "I sensed that today was heavy for you." I managed a small bittersweet smile. It was. I had a visitor, my daughter. She worries Julian. She sees a change in me, something I can't quite put into words. Julian took my hand in his grip firm yet comforting. Sometimes the heart must break open to let new light in. You deserve to live fully, to embrace both the joy and the inevitable pain that comes with rediscovery. His words, simple and profound, reassured me. That night, as we sat together in the quiet glow of my living room, our conversation deepened. We spoke of life's unexpected turns and the courage it takes to face the shadows of our past. With each shared confession, the walls around my heart crumbled a little more, leaving me both vulnerable and fiercely alive. As midnight approached, the air between us grew charged once again. Julian leaned in slowly, his eyes seeking permission before his lips brushed softly against mine. This kiss was a quiet promise, a pledge to honor the transformation that had begun within me, to step boldly into a future where age was no barrier to passion or to the pursuit of happiness. In that moment, as the world outside lay hushed and still, I felt the weight of my past and the allure of my newfound desires merge into one. The tender reckoning with my daughter's concern had not dimmed the fire inside me. Rather, it had clarified what I truly needed. A life replete with both memories and the promise of untold adventures. And so, with Julian's hand in mine and the gentle murmur of the night as our witness, I resolved to embrace this chapter fully, knowing that the journey ahead would be as unpredictable as it was beautiful. As the golden hues of autumn slowly gave way to the crisp chill of early winter, I found myself reflecting on the winding road that had led me here. The attic had been my gateway to the past, but it was in the quiet moments with Julian, and even in the gentle concern of my daughter, that I learned life was meant to be fully lived, regardless of the years behind us. One evening, as soft snowflakes began to dust the window panes, Karen returned for a long overdue visit. The house, once filled with echoes of solitude, now brimmed with a quiet warmth and a hint of new beginnings. Over cups of steaming tea in the cozy kitchen, we shared honest, heartfelt conversations. I explained the stirring within me, the deep longing to reconnect with the vibrant, passionate soul I had once known. Though Karen's eyes shimmered with worry at first, they eventually softened with understanding. She realized that my rediscovery was not a betrayal of the past, but a celebration of the life I still had the courage to live. That same night, Julian arrived with a small bouquet of winter roses, their delicate petals a symbol of both resilience and beauty. In the soft glow of the living room lamp, we sat together once more. His hand, steady and warm, found mine as we looked out the window at the gently falling snow. In that silent, shared moment, I understood that every ending could be a beginning in disguise. "Evelyn," Julian whispered, his voice filled with quiet determination, "we've both faced years of quiet sorrow and hidden dreams. Tonight, let's promise to honor every moment, both the pain and the joy, that brought us here." I smiled, feeling the weight of the past dissolve into the promise of tomorrow. "I promise," I replied, my voice steady yet soft with emotion. "I'm ready to embrace every day, every unexpected twist with open arms. I've learned that it's never too late to rediscover who I truly am." In that gentle embrace, as the night deepened around us, I realized that I was no longer defined by the loss of my husband or the solitude of the years gone by. I was a woman reborn, a soul unafraid to chase passion, to rediscover the spark of youth, and to create a future filled with both tenderness and adventure. As winter settled in and the first light of dawn revealed a world transformed, I stepped outside with Julian by my side. Each breath of the crisp air felt like a celebration of life, a promise that every moment was an opportunity to love, to feel, and to live boldly. And so, with hearts intertwined and a new horizon ahead, I embraced the truth that life, no matter how long or winding, always holds the chance for a brilliant, unexpected beginning. And that's it for today's story. I'd love to hear what you think. Leave a comment below and share your feelings. Did you relate to any of the characters? Or if you were in their shoes, what decisions would you make? I'd love to hear from all of you. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. And if you didn't, hit one. Subscribe so you don't miss out on more great content. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.